I never do a first call pitch. I never even discuss numbers on the phone unless I absolutely have to, right? And so if I got an aggressive prospect that's saying, you know what, just tell me, do you have this rate? Yes, we do. Let me see first if that you even qualify for it. Now it's kind of like putting kind of a challenge to them, and I'm gonna teeter off that because it's humans like, fuck yeah, I qualify. I want to bring that out of them, right? That pride. So I'm gonna teeter it. It's like, yeah, well, let me make sure that you can even get that, buddy, right? Almost in that way, but be a little bit more professional. And then the reason why I don't do it on the first call is because I personally have not had a chance to absorb all of the content of that conversation. I'm going to think back of the words that he said, like whether I need or I want, right? I'm going to figure out, that $500 extra per month, where does it go? I like to go travel. I'm going to think about that because that's what's going to tie it into my pitch. And it's important that when you set up the pitch call, that you do have the other person available. And remind them they don't have to be in the same location. We have the ability to do a conference call, right? And let's say the other person's at work. Say, no worries, you guys don't need to be in the same location. I just need to know when she's going to be on a 5-minute break, because I do need her available to confirm some information. Because they're going to want to guard them. So, oh no, I'm the one making the decision. No, you can give me the information. Be strong. Know that if you fold and you give in too easy, you just sacrifice that full hour of building all that fucking leverage. Because what will happen is you'll end up selling him, and then you're gonna have to sell the wife, which now you're working twice as fucking hard, and it took you away from other deals. Make sense? All right. So by incorporating the other person on the phone, the decision maker, you're also speaking to them, right? But it appears that you're talking to the screener. And so I'm going to, like, the person who made the decision, mind you, or who makes the decision, was not part of the first phone call. But if you do it right and you extract the right information, you're saying things that person told the spouse, right? That tells the spouse on a monthly basis, every month. Hey, babe, we don't have any money going in the bank. Hey, babe, we owe this much in credit card debt. Hey, babe, fuck, we're check to check. That makes sense? And so that's what spawned the interest to start the inquiry. And so when you go over your pitch, you're actually saying those things. Now the decision maker is hearing you. Say, fuck, man, this guy knows me. That's why you need them on the phone. Because after the phone call, whether if they say, we're going to go and talk about it and think about it, you need the influencer, who's usually the bill payer, to be influencing the other party to talk about you. Oh, man, this guy's fucking awesome. That's what you want to hear. Whoa. Like, this is great. And I can tell you that you're doing it right because you'll know you're doing it right because they'll never even ask you the rate, right? And it's probably baffling to some of us because, like, how the fuck do you not get past the rate? Easy. This is how. When you call them up on the second call and you're doing let's say you set the appointment for 4:30, but you know that they're available at 4, right? Like, hey, what time are you available to I can do a quick 10-minute call. I'm just going to review some options with you. You're asking the prospect. Say, you know what, I'm going to be available at 4. Okay, great. Let me call you around 4:30 if that works. Yeah, 4:30. So now I'm calling them at 4 or 4:15 because I know they're available. But this is how I open my pitch. And I would strongly recommend that you guys try this or try to open it this way. I say, hey, Travis, I'm putting the information together. I was actually just putting the information together for our 4:30 appointment. And in doing so, I came across something. I wanted to run it by you real quick. Get your idea. Get your feedback on it. So if I call them at 4 or 4:15, I already know they're available. Make sense? But the reason why I open it up that way is because, number one, if you open up okay, I got the options ready. Now they're on guard. They know to be on guard at 4:30 when you call. Does that make sense? They're both sitting there, both on the speakerphone or on the conference call, and they got a guard about them. And so when you open it up in a way where, hey, you know what, I was actually putting the information together that you were going to have a guard about. And in doing so, I came across something. I want to run it by you real quick. Completely different mindset. Now they're like, yeah, what's up? Now you got fucking full radar. Now you control the conversation. That's why. Not that they're blowing you off. This is actually on the second call. This is where you built up enough leverage on the first to do the second. And the reason why you do that besides the guard is when when the sale happens, when the prospect feels like they're the one that made the decision, you have much stronger glue to that prospect versus going through options 1, 2, and 3, 4. Okay, which one do you want? This one. Okay, let me go and wrap that up for you. There's no substance. There's no personal, It's just like, I guess these are the options. Well, let me see what other options are available. Make sense? That's why they shop you. Whereas if you tailor, actually custom fit it and say, hey, Travis, I was putting some options together and I want to run something by you. Is Mrs. Travis there? Okay, cool. Put me on speakerphone real quick. Hey, Mrs. Travis, this is Daniel. I actually had a chance to speak with Travis earlier today, and what I did was I'm putting together some information about to go over with you at our 4:30 appointment. But I came across something, and I want to run it by you. He mentioned that you also do the finances or handle the bills at the end of the month, so I want to make sure these numbers are right for you. Now I got the mic, right? Oh yeah, what do you need? Well, you know what? In my conversation with Travis, he mentioned that you guys are currently paying about $300 towards credit cards. He also mentioned that you have about $500 extra per month that's not going to savings. You guys are actually diverting that towards traveling, towards Susie's college tuition. I'm hitting the points way before I go into numbers, right? He also mentioned that your average checking and savings balance is about $3,000 per month when everything's said and done, and that's not growing. As a matter of fact, he mentioned that you guys are pulling from it. Again, I'm relating to shit that only the wife knows, right? Now the wife's like, oh my God, this guy's a fucking mind reader. That's what you're aiming for, because that's what creates a glue. And besides that, he had mentioned that with your current your current long-term plan with this house, you guys plan to buy it off or pay it off, or your main goal is to pay more balance down, or your main goal is to create more cash flow, more breathing room, whatever it is, the content you get in the phone call. And then this is how you go into the pitch. Now, with that said, I put together an option for you, and I'm able to take your total payment, and I'm adding the $300 plus the $600 plus the mortgage. I can actually take this total payment and bring it down to here, right? And all I'm doing is paying about 19 grand in debt, but to them, they experience $1,000 almost. You guys know where I got that? The 600 car payment plus the 300, right? And it's sometimes gonna be different. Sometimes it's only gonna be 300 or 200, but still you're creating savings, right? And say, oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. And now I'm talking about cash out, because this is Travis is the same person that asked for a 2.5 30-year fix rate and term with no fees, right? So they're still under the impression that they're going to get that, but hey, I actually found some information, want to run it by you. Now it's like, oh, that makes sense. And the only way I was able to pound that information was that I persevered and I fucking deflected whatever request they had about rate. I didn't hear it, because I understand that they're not here for rate or fees. They're here for room to breathe. Savings, right? And so by by presenting it that way and saying, you know what, I was able to bring your payment from here to here, this would actually give you X amount of monthly savings. Whatever you decide to do with it, whether you decide to put it in the bank or put it towards your traveling or put it towards Susie's college tuition, right? Now you're hitting it. Or maybe offset the decline in income you have because you're not working as much, or offset the overtime you don't have anymore, right? And you're able to teeter off that because you were asking the right questions up front, right? By taking your payment down here, you can achieve all of this. Now I can do this with no cost, like you had requested, and your total payment is going to be here. But if you don't mind using, and just because you had mentioned that you want to keep this house long term, this may very well be the last time you refinance. So if you didn't mind using your skip payment, because you're going to have a skip payment on the $900 plus $1,100 mortgage payment, so that's $2,000 1 month not going out, and then you're going to get an escrow refund of about $2 grand. So you got $4 grand right there, regardless, right? From the deferred payment and escrow refund. Remember, use that, guys. Powerful fucking shit. It'll help you a lot with the streamline refinances with the $20 savings, because when you remind them of the escrow balance, and if you're able to work it out to the deferred payment and give them some cash, or even on a conventional rate and term, and you're only saving $25, remind them that you're going to make this payment anyway. Why not fucking do this, and I can free up that cash. You could pay off the credit cards, and now I'm saving you $325. Make sense? They just need to kind of know the path, and like I said, we're just a fucking guide. We're just kind of mapping it out for them. But where I'm getting at is, when you go from the monthly payment, you give them the options and say, if you don't mind using that to actually cover your own costs, or you can finance it, it's really up to you. I can bring your payment even down further. And so what I did was I showed him the principal and interest payment of the no closer, all the closing costs, depending on how it is, loan size. Sometimes you're only able to fit lender fee. So I'll say, with no lender fee, but the consumer here is no fee. They don't know the details 1629. I don't want to talk about the fucking details 1629 until I sell them on the payment first. Make sense? Say, yeah, with no lender fee, I can actually bring the payment down to here. But again, you're actually going to defer, the monthly payment. You're going to get an escrow refund. I can bring the payment a little bit lower if you want to finance your cost or use your deferred payment. It's really up to you. Then they're going to make the decision, right? They're going to make the decision based on the fees, what feels right, and they're confident in making the decision because you've already talked to them to the exact reasons why they're doing the refinance to begin with. So all that's done. Now it's decision time. But you're not doing it in a way where, do I have your approval to move forward? I think that's a fucking awkward question, right? Like some people still do that on applications. Do I have your permission to do an application? That's fucking awkward. Me, I just went with it. If you guys do that right now, then you get away with it, God bless you. But I would strongly recommend being a little bit more covert. And this is the covert way of making a sale. You guys are fucking getting gold right now. I swear to God. All this information right here, if you learn how to master it and really kind of use it as more or less like a momentum, like just a ride. It's a conveyor belt, right? Not everyone's gonna make it past. And that's okay because you don't want to waste your time on them anyway, right? If there truly is no benefit, and I think that's where you guys are at right now. You guys don't know what benefit is, right? Like, fuck, dude, this guy, he sounds awesome, but like he's super excited. He sent me all his documents. Yeah, we got a fucking lock, but we forgot to ask ourselves, why is this fucking guy so anxious, right? Sometimes that's a red flag, but we're looking at it as a sale, like, fuck yeah, I got this guy. But then we look at his past inquiries, and this guy's had fucking 18 inquiries in the last 12 months from different lenders, right? He even said it in the conversation. Oh yeah, I just did an appraisal 2 months ago. Oh yeah, would the value come in at 480? Perfect. And we just move on because we're so excited. Well, we got to slow down. Like, what the fuck did you do an appraisal 2 months ago? Why didn't you do the refinance? Oh yeah, because I got a lien on the house. My income don't work. I write off everything but water, right? But it's because of us. It's our excitement. Like, oh yeah, man, this guy's fucking giving me all this shit. He's fucking excited. Woo! I'm gonna go on break. We're actually setting ourselves up for that failure, right? Well, we got to be a little bit more useful with our time. And so why this second call setup is very effective is because it's going to help you avoid things like, I need to talk to my wife. It's going to help avoid things of, I heard a lower rate. And the reason why I never present rate, I always present payment. And that's why I'm saying, like, you're doing it right, because they'll never even ask you what the rate is. They'll agree to move forward, never even ask you what the fucking rate is. They'll call back and say, you know what, you never even told me the rate. Yeah, I know, right? You're welcome. But, when you present it, where I think most of the time, options go like this. I got option number 1, it's going to be at 4.375, no lender fee. Blah, 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 blah. And it's going to blah, 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 blah. But you lost their attention at 4.375. It was done. Now they did not hear all the fucking shit you put work into to gather up, right? So you could have, and I think this answers your question, you're doing everything right, but it's just one minor tweak that will change your fucking world.